Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Special treat tonight. Hailing from West Seattle, yours truly, on the mic. Corey Edwards taking a day off. Threw the mic my direction. I said, I guess if I have to, I have to. So here I am. They flew me in. They had excess from the GP budget, sent it my way, put some gas in the tank, and made it out here all the way from West Seattle. Drove the Hummer even, because, you know, if I'm getting paid, I'm getting paid. So I don't know what this event is next door, but my Hummer disapproves. On the menu this evening, kicking off with a Matto. I'm unsure if it's a scratch or a points, but it says Madison, so it's going to be one of those. I'm hearing from our producer that it is a scratch race. For those of you unsure what this race is all about, that makes two of us. We're all going to find out together. I see some matching jerseys. I'm going to guess it's a tag team competition. We got 5 teams tonight. In the red jerseys, we have Big Bill Fowler and Amara Edwards. In the purple, we have Keegan Fairbanks and Charlotte Westover. Team green on the menu, but team white in appearance. No, that would be light blue, is Merritt Gallagher and Lucy Gilchrist. In the 90s jersey, we have Andy Baker and Annette Williams. And finally, we have in the rainbow kits, sponsored by Ride, we have Rue Tomko and Lucy Dorr. This race is going to be 30 laps. Casual start here from the leading group. We have Andy Baker on the front of what appears to be the racing group. Looks like he's chilling. Merritt Gallagher close behind, about a wheel length, also chilling. This being a scratch race means that the first team to complete the 30 laps will be the victor, barring racing incident, disqualification, etc., 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 which we shall not see today. These folks are semi-professional. I have it on good authority. No big attacks just yet. I think everyone's sorting themselves out, seeing where they might stack up against the other teams. Looked like we had a missed exchange there from Team Purple. From a technical rules perspective, if you touch at all the other rider can be the racing rider, but it is not necessary. There is an option there to stay in during a mixed exchange. Looks like we have Merrick Gallagher, closely followed by Big Bill Fowler off the front here. Andy Baker in hot pursuit, followed by Keegan. And I believe that is that Rue Tomko, right behind Keegan in the draft. At the front of the race here, we have Annette Williams, followed by Will Fowler. Lucy in hot pursuit. Mara Edwards has latched on to the wheel of Annette Williams. Looks like there will be a exchange here. Andy Baker being thrown in. My mind says attack. We'll see what his heart says. Merrick Gallagher's got his head down, chasing back the leading duo. That'll be an extra effort the front two riders have not done. But Merrick has latched on here. Spicy throw from Amara and Will. Quite the dynamic duo we have here. For all of you fans along the outside of the rail, by all means, ask the riders on relief their position on, well, anything you'd like. You know, they're open for discussion, I've heard. They won't be thinking about anything else. Merrick looked behind, saw he had a gap, but chose not to attack, going into an exchange here with his partner Lucy. Annette on the wheel, followed by Amara. Big throw there, but not enough to gap the other two. These few teams look fairly evenly matched. That was a smoother throw from Team High Mom in the red jerseys. Looks like Will Fowler using that smoothness, translating it to speed, and is burning up out of turn two. Andy says, no, no, no. Don't even think about it, as he closes that pretty easily. Merrick's got some work to do. If the leading duo work together, it's possible they could hold Merrick in position 3. They've got a approximately 60-meter gap to Merrick. 60-meter gap to Merrick. I wouldn't want to see him close that. Another exchange here from Will and Amara. Looked pretty good. Also, Andy and Annette Williams exchanging there. Everything looked pretty smooth. Lap card showing 17 to go. This race approximately halfway through. Group of 3 working together at the front more or less. More and less. Merrick choosing to punch it over the top here to create some separation. His team was gapped on the previous few laps, so it's kind of go, you know, they're going to alternate back and forth, I would imagine, here. As we get closer to the final few laps of the race, some riders might do a little calculus and sort out who their better sprinter is to stay in the race longer for that final couple lap punch. But here with 16 laps to go, not quite the math they're going to do just yet. I've been informed that that was trigonometry, not calculus, that the riders would have to be doing. I still don't know if that's correct. I was an arts major, if you didn't know. Economics is an art. Believe me, no science there. Theoretical art. You know, I looked down for a second and I looked up and now I don't know where the front of the race is, so I'm just going to be looking at an official to point them out in turn 4 here soon. There we have it, folks. Lucy on the front in P1. Coming into turn 1, followed closely by Andy Baker. Keegan launching up to that duo as well. Does he go over the top? Does he go over the top? He does not. He sits in the draft, as I would as well. It's a lovely place to be. Except for when Andy gets really aero, then it's hard, to be honest. It's a difficult place. Coming in here to 11 to go. Bit of congestion on the home straight. The general rule is to go above the riders exchanging. That is the safest place to be. You won't see that on the World Cup circuit always, but out here we almost demand it. Lucy and Rue with a great exchange on the back straight there. In congestion. Nice and safe, nice and smooth. Will Fowler coming over the top of the group. I believe he's now in P1 with Andy Baker out of the saddle, trying to close the gap. Doesn't want Will to get too far off the front. He is a danger to himself and for the victory. Come on, Derek. Looks to me like Andy has decided to bury himself in this effort to get off the front and stick it. On the backstretch, Keegan And Merrick Gallagher attempting to close the gap here. But that's a significant one, folks.
Come on, Merrick.
You know, honestly, it looked like Merrick was nose breathing. That's unsettling that he's going that fast, nose breathing. You know, I'm glad I took the day off. I think I made the right choice after seeing that. Too easy. Annette Williams keeping the gas on. Merrick in chase. Six to go. 6 laps to go for the leaders and for everyone else, to be honest, because if you've been lapped, you're still doing 6. If you slow down more, it might be 5. I suppose that's an option. Lead group coming out of turn 4, Andy Baker, followed by Lucy Gilchrist. Andy attacks far enough over the top to prevent Lucy from jumping in the draft. How rude, but understandable. Lots of prize money tonight. Oh, producer just let me know, no prize money tonight. That's a bummer. All that work, no money. Damn. I mean, dang. Sorry, Mom. Speaking of Mom, check out those sweet Hi Mom jerseys. Those are the red ones. Great artwork. Whoever designed that, tell you what, great thoughts. Two hands up if you're on the rock wall chillin'. Oh. Whoops. We got 3 to go, 3 laps to go. The producer's producer, the director, has just informed me that there is money on the line tonight. How many people can be wrong? No do-overs this time. We're giving out money to somebody. So this is the point in the race with just a couple laps to go that tactics are potentially more important for the victory here. If you look into turn 4, which would be that away, coming across here up the home stretch, 1 to go, 1 lap to go, slice and dice, in the words of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We've got Andy Baker leading out Merrick Gallagher. Is this a real attack or is this a halvesies attack? Hard to know. Andy's pretty arrow, hard to get around. He's going to be coming into some lap traffic here. Looks like Merrick coming around for the victory. Hold your applause till all the awards have been handed out, please. Thus ends the race. Applause. I'm still not sure how that all worked out, if I'm honest, but it looked graceful at times. Up next, Old School Keirins. I think that means no carbon fiber bikes, no carbon fiber wheels, boxing gloves, and a pack of Marlboro Reds. But still waiting on the rules. Somebody send those rules over to me. I'll shout them out then. All right, folks, we're taking it back here. I think we're only taking it back 3 or 4 years, though, when the UCI changed the Keirin regs. We're taking it back in 6 years? Gosh, don't blink. Don't blink. Time marches on. So in current Keirin regulations, riders draw for positions, and they are obligated to take that position behind the moto. Moto is, in this case, a red e-bike currently in the warm-up circle being ridden by Amara Edwards in a red jersey. That will be the Moto henceforth. And in the modern era Keirin, yeah, you have to fall in line as you've drawn position. But the old school rules are you didn't have to fall in line. You could choose where to. And so there would be more of a quote-unquote fight for position. Hands will not be leaving the handlebars, but little elbow, little shoulder, little head nod, you know, it'll just be a little bit more argy-bargy. And yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Oh, God. All Keirin riders have a holder ready. Please keep the night on track. 405 is closing. Don't make me camp here. Thank you. My round trip ticket from West Seattle expires at midnight. In this first heat, Cat 4 men, we have David Gilchrist of Dyna Racing, Fred Marshall of Trackomania, Micah Amon of U.S. Military Endurance Sports, Luke Tallman of East Portland Youth Cycling, and Keegan Fairbanks of Jerry Baker Jr.'s. The moto is coming down the home stretch. Riders on deck are Jeff Mendoza, Scott Fowler, Ryder Carlson, Tom Herink, and Bernard Yee. Can I get a pronunciation correction on that? Herink. Apologies. Keegan Fairbanks on the back, but not drafting. Perhaps playing rock, paper, scissors, trying to get that position from the rider from the Portland U Cycling. I think Keegan's just playing around, vying for some crowd support. Bad news, I've tried this. It doesn't give you any more watts. Seems to me like Amara's doing more work and she's on the e-bike. This is good base miles coming in for spring track season, I think. At some point in the next 3 laps, the moto will pull off and those racers will be let loose. TBD when that is. I mean, I'm assuming Amara knows, but the announcer didn't do his homework. Shame. The moto has exited, leaving David Gilchrist on the front, followed by Fred. One to go, one to go, one to go, one to go. Micah off the front, huge gap. Keegan chasing. Looks like pulling Luke with him from Epic. Can Fred jump on that wheel? 3 go to the final. The one rider off the front can probably coast in from here. The other 2 with some work to do. Looks like blocking up the road so Fred can't pass. But the winner of this heat is going to be Luke Tallman, followed by, oh, pardon me, that would be Micah, followed by Luke, and third would be Keegan. Heat 2 here. We've got Jeff Mendoza, Scott Fowler, Ryder Carlson, Todd Herrick, and Bernard Yee. Shout out to all my dogs in the beer garden. Can I get a woof woof? I didn't hear it, but I can see it in your eyes. The race is underway. Well, sort of a neutral-ish rollout, if you will. Bernie crowding the lane. You love to see it. He can offer up a pretty good draft to that Epic Rider, but Epic Rider says no, no way. Well, he might have said that. I can't hear from this distance, but his body language is saying no. In this long of a race, it's not terribly advantageous to be on the back or the front. It's a short effort. Takes a powerful turn of speed here, but from experience, I'll say it is nicer to draft for at least part of it. Jeff on the front, setting the tempo, as laid out by the e-bike, which I believe comes off in 1 lap. I think Amara will be ramping up the pace just a little bit more after this lap, which means Bernie's eating a little bit more wind. He might have some opportunity to duck in here and draft a bit off the Epic rider. Looks like will be the case. And Tom on the back, choosing to move up and around again. Didn't like that position. Maybe looking to take a long flyer once the moto pulls off on the backstretch here. These riders are at roughly 30 to 32 miles an hour at this point, so it is tough to ride solo out in the wind like that. Coming into 1 to go, Jeff Mendoza on the front, followed by Scott Fowler. Bernie taking a flyer from the back, coming up and around. Jeff Mendoza punching it on the front. Looks like Scott Fowler is sitting pretty, waiting to time his move here. There he goes, out and around Jeff on the front, but Bernie's got even more. The Epic rider from Portland following that wheel, but is now out in the wind, has stalled out his effort a bit. Can Bernie hold on? TBD. Top 3 advance, and it will be Bernie from Dyna, followed by, oh boy, the Epic rider. And it looks like there will be a call needed from the slow-mo replay. Thank you, Samsung. The top 3 riders from that last heat would be Ryder Carlson, Tom, and Bernie. Congratulations. You're moving on. On the track now, we've got Cat 1-2 men, Heat A. Down low, we've got Mike Robson from 10-Speed Hero. Looks like Carlberg taking the lead from Coefficient of Speed. Unsure what that kit is. If anyone knows, put it in the chat. What is he wearing? It's a throwback, but I don't know what he's throwing back to. Also in this race at the back in orange is going to be Ben Flom of Fell Swoop Racing. In the green, out wide, we have Carl Hofer of, says Audi here, but I believe he's riding for Fount. That is a Fount kit. And Mario Sandoval, riding for Empire 7, is in the light blue and dark blue. Okay, I took a closer look at Carlberg's kit. It says Fire Thorn on the side. Fire Thorn. If any of you have a smartphone, look that up. My phone isn't too smart. Three riders will advance from this heat as well. Doesn't mean they don't race hard. It just means that you might be able to let off a little early if you're in a good spot. So on the track we have Carlberg, Mario, Mike Robson, and then Ben in the back here. But Carl is hanging out. Oh, now he's tucking in for a little bit of a draft. I think he was hoping to slot in a little further up, but Ben was not letting him. Looks like Moto off this lap here. Karlberg choosing to ride the lane. Eyeing over the shoulder, going into the bell lap. One to go, final lap. Everything is status quo. Nobody's making a big jump yet. They're all waiting probably for Karlberg to lead it out. If I were Ben or Carl, though, I would have jumped on the gears now. Here we go. Mike Robson out of the saddle with Ben on hot pursuit. Mario anticipating that, trying to bump Mike out a little bit, following Karlberg's wheel. Karlberg driving home in the sprint lane. Not a whole lot of competition here. They're going to go pretty easy into the final here. It's going to be Karlberg, Mario, and Mike Robson. Clean and fast race right there. In Heat B of the Men 1-2s, we've got Scott Grinsell of Dyna, Aaron Young of the Shop. From Liquid Velo, we've got Andy Baker, Coefficient of Speed, Nick Martinez, and from JB Juniors, we've got Merrick Gallagher. Correction, Nick Martinez, not on the track. Not in the zip code. Maybe. Pacer is underway. So down low, we've got Scott Grinsell, Aaron Young just above Andy Baker, and then we've got Merrick the Kid Gallagher. Oh, this is an interesting situation. I honestly don't know what's happening here. Where's Karlberg? He's very pro-relegation when it comes to tomfoolery in a Keirin. Oh, is because somebody's on the bike that can all happen? Really? Oh, wow. Well, good to know. Good to know. So I don't really know what the situation was. I mean, I know, but looks like Aaron Young and Andy Baker not wanting to be on the wheel there, a little too far up. They're looking for a little bit more draft. It is a long race for a sprinter. Throwing bows by himself is Merrick the Kid Gallagher. He might need to save that up for 2 laps from now with Aaron on his wheel. Aaron, I believe, is a sprint specialist. Hailing all the way from SeaTac Airport. I expect this race to be a bit more dynamic given how that first 200 meters went. My call, as always, is unofficial. I do believe 3 will be advancing from this race as well, so it's not a game of who can finish 1-2, it's who can not be last, which is unusual for a Keirin. I don't know how that would change the strategery. Looks like Merrick Gallagher leaving a bit of a gap here. I don't know if that's a gamble, a little bit of rush room. Is he going to take it long up and over the top? Is it illegal if I help my Dyna teammate out and call the race more loudly? Probably. No collusion tonight, folks. No collusion. Not from me. But all those kids from Portland. Here we go. 1 to go. In the final lap, we've got Scott Grinsell leading it out. He's got a bike length gap to Garrick the Kid Gallagher. That would be Merrick the Kid Gallagher. Coming around over the top, he's got Aaron Young on his wheel, followed by Andy Baker. Looks very smooth at this point. It's possible Scott could hang in there and just sneak one past, but he sits up. He says, no, there's no room. No room in the inn. Aaron shut him out there in the sprint lane and just sort of coasted on through. So that would be Merrick, Aaron, and Andy moving on into the final. Up next, more Keirins. Mike Ritter puts the old in old school. Oh, no? Too late, I already said it. So we've got in this heat, Mike Ritter, Ken Dong, James Campbell Harris, Jamie Park, Grant Gibson, Big Bill Fowler, and Gavin Newman. Gavin, as you roll by, just shout your nickname at me. I think I'm going to be needing it later. I heard cheetah. Sea bass? What? Sea bass? That's not even a Portland thing. Are there sea bass in Portland? Whatever. I'm gonna go sea bass. Looks like Gavin, the Seabass Newman, found the wheel here of the Pacer. Still trying to get aero. All saved watts are useful later in this race, as small as they might be now. Looks like just behind Gavin Newman, we got Big Bill Fowler. And I see Ken Dong out there, followed by Mike Ritter, both teammates in separate kits. We got Grant on the outside, followed by James Campbell Harris, and in the caboose, we've got Jamie Park. Jamie Park's been ripping it this season. I expect a big finish out of him. Ken Dong's been working on his sprint power, but I'll tell you what, the two youths in the front, quite aero. They don't have the same amount of watts as some of the other folks, but they got the aeroness, and that's quite helpful here at the speeds they go, which are medium fast. Just going to cut through that wind a little bit better. Moto coming off this lap. Here we go. From the front, Gavin Newman punching it. Interesting tactic. See how this plays out. Big Bill on his wheel. Says, I can match that. Looks like Ken Dong going from about 400 meters out is going to pull the train up and around the outside. Side by side, top three advance. Are they just going to park the bus on the front and make everyone do more work and come around? Jamie Park says no, out of the saddle, pulling James Campbell Harris and Mike Ritter with him. Huge move. Gavin Newman still on the front. This Seabass has legs. You heard it here first. Unbelievable. It looks like Mike Ritter, Gavin Newman, and Jamie Park advancing on to the finals. What a wild ride that was. Correction, top four advance. That means James Campbell Harris makes it in as well, I believe. Go, James, go. I'm hearing from the crowd. Go, James, go. Heat B on deck. Here we go. We've got Kevin Ulrich, Mike Jors, Quinn Kennedy, Ooh, did Quinn Kennedy show? We were hollering for them earlier. I do not see a Quinn Kennedy on the pitch, tarmac, on the concrete, on the boards, on the banking. I'm gonna go with banking. Also in this race, Parker Stanford, Anton Ernyshev, Stanley Douglas, Mike Westover, and Peter Snoblin. New rule. Juniors don't hold juniors for Keirins. Pacer underway. Wait for the call. That's the call. Take your time. You don't have to get there. Peter Snoblin, who was up at the rail, had the most descent opportunity, and he took that with gusto and is now on the wheel. Claiming the victory in the throwing competition is going to be Andrew Karlberg, who was holding. Holding. Technically, that was a hold with style. It's like Buzz Lightyear is falling with style, but very similar but different. All right, in order, we have Peter Snoblin of Aerotech Racing, Kevin Ulrich from Gene Johnson, Mike Jors, unattached. Somebody pick this guy up, huh? Needs a contract. Make him an offer he can't refuse. That would be Stanley from Flow Cycling Factory on the wheel of Mike Jors. Following that, we've got Michael Westover, followed by, oh gosh, they went around so quickly. Process of elimination, that must be Anton. And in the very back, we've got Parker Stanford. We've got at least 6 fans of Parker Stanford on the stream. I know it. Moto appears to be pulling off. Yes, confirmed. Moto has pulled off. Amara's effort is done for now. Snoblin on the front in the sprint lane. Not sprinting just yet. Looks like a tempo effort for him. Parker Stanford in the back making a jump, but there we go. Stan Douglas coming around the outside, but Snoblin has ramped it up in the sprint lane. Kevin Ulrich and Mike Jors punching it into turn 3, coming around the outside. Whew! Close there in turn 3. Top 4 advance here. Looks like there is a bit of a separation that could probably all come in a bit easy. Here we go. So that'll be Mike Jors, Peter Snoblin, Stan Douglas, and Kevin Ulrich making the final here. Looked fairly regimented for some of those folks. If you have good position and a nice level of punch, it's difficult to get around. And when you're taking 4 to final, it's just about positioning at that point. It takes a massive effort if you're in position 7 to come up and around. So congrats to those 4 riders for making it into the final. Men's for final needs to draw for position. Men for final, draw for position, please. All right, we've got the Cat 4 final coming up. In that final, you will see Micah Amon, Luke Tallman, Keegan Fairbanks, Bernie Yee, Ryder Carlson, and Tom Herink. Please have a holder with you at the beginning of your race. Be very helpful. Pacers underway here in the final. If my memory serves correct, all of these folks are quite fast. It's a wide open final. Who wants the wheel? Somebody take it. Keegan Fairbanks once again trying to mosey his way into the draft a little bit further up. Is that Tom out there giving him a little elbow? I think he's not wanting that. Yeah, Keegan says, all right, I'll come out and around. After all that hard work, Keegan did find a spot behind the motor a little further up. Very gracious. Very gracious of Micah there. Maybe he bribed him. Probably. He said, hey, I'll lead you out. I think the dark horse in this race is at the tail end here is Bernie. He's got a bit of a punch. He's pretty arrow. He's been racing a while. Knows how to read a race. See if he can find the right wheel to lead him to victory. There are some other fast folks at the back here. Both of the Epic riders have shown themselves to be fast. I think they peaked for the whole summer. I don't know how kids do that, but they have. They've been fast since day one. They continue to be fast. Next year, I will be nervous. One more lap, and then the pacer will pull off with 1.5 to go. Another interesting tactic here. Micah leaving a little bit of a gap. Could be rush room again. Micah certainly hit the turbo last race and was off the front by quite a distance, so there's definitely a lot of punch there. But it appears like they don't want to be too boxed in and to move themselves out wide. Keegan, I believe, is on a smaller gear than the others, being a junior rider. There Micah goes. Huge effort. Nobody able to sustain that acceleration there. Looks like it might be a fight for second. Too early to call, perhaps. Bunch of juniors spinning at 150 RPM. Makes my knees hurt. I might sit down for the rest of this call. Yeah, Micah and Easy. Big round of applause here. Quite a show. Great win. Great win. Whoa. Tight finish there, but by my eyes, we got Keegan in second, and is that Tom in third? Did Micah go through rollout? That was punchy. A lot of separation there. Up next, we've got Master Men's Keirin Final with an addition of Merrick Gallagher. Never mind. I see Carlberg in there, so. It's the P12 Keirin Final. You got Andy Baker on the outside, Merrick the Kid Gallagher in position 5. Mario does not have a nickname, Sandoval. In the middle there, next to Mike Robson. And we got Aaron, and we got Carlberg down low. I'm going to keep my eyes down low. Whoa, huge effort to fight for the wheel. Well, you know what that told me? It told me Aaron's on a lighter gear than Carlberg. That's all that said. I don't know enough about Keirin rules to know about encroaching the lane and all that, but it looks like Aaron was willing to give it up there. So no hands came off the bars, so I think we're good. Andy Baker crowding the lane. You love to see it. That will be the last time I say that tonight. I've said it twice, and it feels weird. I'm not that young. Merrick Gallagher and Mario having a conversation at the back. Mario flicking him through. Maybe he was just adjusting his kit. Hard to say. All I want to know is, why don't we do mid-race preems? You know what I mean? Has somebody thought of that? I think maybe next year we do a mid-race Keirin preem. If I win the race night at the auction next spring, well, you got a head start on your tactics for that race. Moto's off. Carlberg on the front, followed by Aaron. Mike Robson and Andy Baker drafting the sweet locks of Aaron, trying to find a spot. Looks like Andy tucking in. Carlberg ramping it. He doesn't look like he's at full chat just yet. Aaron checks over the shoulder, trying to see who's coming. Moves out a little bit, thinking about it. Here we go. There's a punch. Mario already up out of the saddle as well. Both of them absolute rolling around turn 3 into turn 4. Looks like Aaron Young coming out of the turn 4 in the lead position, followed by Mike Robson. And that'll be the final. 1, 2, and 3. Aaron, followed by Robson, followed by Mario. Merrick Gallagher coming up close in 4th. Andy Baker and Andrew Carlberg, who looked like is on lead-out duties there, taking it up in a snazzy retro kit. And this, folks, is the Cat 3 final. Down low, we've got Mike looking for a contract yours. Yeah, that's his new nickname. Until he gets a contract, then he'll be known as, well, we'll find out. Yeah, Mike has a contract yours. Can somebody hold a rider, please? Anyone? Somebody with a dog. Ideally, someone with a dog holding a rider. Just the dog holds the rider. No, the rider holds the dog. Are dogs allowed in the arms of a rider? Is that a DQ? Go to the judges. Oh, hands on the bar. What if they're in a basket? A little doggy basket off the front. A backpack? A backpack dog, Keirin? That's a niche race for next year, and very Instagram friendly, I suppose. All right, where was I? The riders in this race are Mike needs a contract yours, followed by Gavin Seabass Newman, Peter Parker Snoblin, Jamie Park, Kevin Ulrich. Is that a Mike Ritter in the house? He is, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Ritter. We also got a Stan Douglas, and I have missed one. Oh, that'd be James Campbell Harris on the bike. There he is.
When you feel like it's over and nothing else matters, I know you feel so divided.
Mike needs a contract yours at the back, surveying the scene. I don't know if there's a lot of information to glean there other than, oh boy, I'm at the back. I would imagine he's going to improve his position here in the next 3 laps or so.
What do you see? You can be anything you want to be, you know. You will never be alone. Girl, go make your move. There's nothing left to prove. I know that you will find your love again. Don't be ashamed to cry. Hold your head up high. I know that love will save the day.
Looks like a bit of a double pace line scenario here. Unusual in a Keirin, but this is a large Keirin with 8 riders. Pacer off now, leaving the riders up to their own devices and speed. James Campbell Harris sneakily with some seated power pulling away with Jamie Park in hot pursuit. Mike Ritter's got to get there if he wants to be in contention for the lead. Stan Douglas has a bit of a gap to close. Looks like the Seabass from Portland is coming around hot, going to close the gap on Mike Ritter. Mike Jors also in pursuit. A lot of folks coming up from behind here, but out front is still James Campbell Harris with monster power, followed by Jamie Park. Coming into the home stretch, we've got James Campbell Harris. Tight finish with Jamie Park, but it will be a victory for James Campbell Harris. Second place, Jamie Park, and Portland's finest Seabass in third. I still need to know why his nickname is the Seabass. Oh! Dummins, okay. Thank you. No, look, that is my era. I just blocked it from memory. That's good. I'm a fan. I'm now a fan. Does everyone have a holder? Put your hand up if you need a holder. Or if you just want to be held. Just me? Okay. Nobody down here? Nope. All right. That's all right. Oh, there we go. 2 more. We need 3 holders. Hey, this looks like a final. I see a bunch of fast folks. The race has only just begun. 5 laps to go. My money's on the one who crosses the finish line first. We have an animated crowd on the infield. Devoted supporters. You know, at this time, I wish I had a secret family recipe. I could share it to you. All right, on the bike is Lucy Dorr, followed by Annette the Threat Williams. Ooh, that's good. Has anybody ever used that? I like it. I'm sticking with it. Behind Annette, we've got what appears to be a Madison partner doing a lingering exchange. Oh, there we go. Is that gonna be Charlotte Westover, I think? Yeah. Yep, Charlotte Westover, followed by Lucy Gilchrist, and then it would be Rue Tomko, and that would be a Park out there. Victoria Park coming around the outside, looking to close a gap, and that would be Laurel in the white at the back. The bell rings, and there's a group of 4 off the front. Victoria Park with some rush room here. Nobody jumping just yet. They're all comfortable in a position they want. There's a bit of a move. Annette Williams pops out and around, distancing herself from the rest of the field. And it doesn't look like she's going to be caught. What a move out of turn 3. Annette the Threat Williams taking home the dub, followed by Lucy Dorr, and that would be, is that Rue Tomko, 25? No, Westover in 3rd. Great finish. Looks like there were some folks who trying to move up a little sooner, but there were some gaps that opened with 1.5 to go, and at that speed, it's just hard to close the gap. That was the final race of Keirin's for 2023, I believe. We are moving on to our scratch races. Cat 4 scratch. It's going to be 10 laps. This race not quite as complicated as the Madison or the Keirin. No funny rules here. It's just whoever does 10 laps first is the victor. Wow, I just looked to the south and I thought the moon had like fallen out of the sky, but it's some sort of inflatable. I need to put down the Izzy. I have too much cran raz pulsing through my veins. Ryder on the front. Looks like he's jumping early. Oh, just kidding. It's in neutral. It's in neutral. Oh, it doesn't have to be that neutral. Like I said, 405 is closing. No delay. Here we go. 10 to go. 10 to go, riders. 10 to go. But it's really about like 9.5 because it's really hard to move up with half a lap to go. Rider 499 on the front, David Gilchrist, taking a hard pull. Pulls up track, surveys the field, and says, oh God, what are they doing? Come back. I just read a thought bubble that was sort of hovering over his helmet there. I just figured that's what that was. Micah here on the front. Absolutely crushed the Keirin, pulling through nice and fast, but it got a bunch of epic kids on the wheel there. Tough to get away from them. They are aero and they do have endurance. Micah has shown himself to have quite a bit of punch, but at 10 laps, we shall see how that manifests itself in the final couple laps. It's hard to train for both. I will say that from experience. Micah again on the front so soon. He was probably hoping to sit in and draft for a little longer. Bernie in second wheel. Pace has really come out of the field there. Is that Gilchrist might get back in if they continue to dilly-dally. Where's Jamie Park? Can I say dilly-dally? Like he was against Chitty Chat, but is dilly-dally okay? Love it? The crowd loves it? Okay. Dilly-dally. I'm going to write that down. Looks like Micah back up towards the front. Happy to be there. Happy to be there. And You know what? I'm going to put a big clap in here for David Gilchrist for getting back attached. So here we go. Quite an effort solo there for a couple of laps. The field sort of sat up and waited. That was very generous of them. But after his big attack in the opening laps, good to see him back in the mix. Micah again setting tempo. I think everyone else is just happy to have them ride in the front, and given how powerful they were in the Keirin, I can see why they wouldn't really want to work with them. So let's let him sit there. Now, if he backs himself in the sprint, even after doing what is objectively quite a bit more work than everyone else on the front here, more power to him. But with 4 to go, we shall see how this pans out. Once again, the pace slowing a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the Epic folks from Portland just absolutely sent it with 2 to go or so. They do have some sprint speed, but why would you want to sprint against Micah? He's shown himself to be at least 6 bike lengths faster. So if it were me, I would absolutely send it. In an interesting change of tactics, coming into 2 to go, looks like Micah decided just to send it himself. Why wait for the attack? He can just stick it to the field. But 2 to go is a bit far. We'll see how this pans out. Bernie on the front with Zach Keegan in second position, drafting. Looks like Bernie's doing a lot of work to pull it back. But if Bernie pulls it back all the way, is he going to have enough to sprint? Ah, the dilemmas. Oh, here we go. Oh, yes. Bell lap. 1 to go, 1 to go. And that would be Ryder off the front, followed by Keegan, followed by Micah, but Micah doesn't seem to have quite the pop. He's already spent a couple matches. Micah's looking behind, or pardon me, that's Keegan looking behind, sees Micah still there, but has a gap. Ryder Carlson on the front, 2 or 3 bike lengths rather. There goes Keegan coming out of the draft, coming around into turn 4. Micah tying up just a bit, and Keegan Fairbanks with the victory. Well done, Keegan. Followed by Micah, and ooh, that was close for third. We'll need a call from the officials on third place there. This just in, Tom in bronze position. Tom's fan club very excited about that. As am I. He's got the best looking bike in the bunch. We do not need holders for this. Thank you for all of you writing in, offering to hold. We're good. We're stand down. Cat 1 riders to the rail, please. I said Cat 1, 2 riders to the rail. Tweet. All the whistles go tweet. Well, this is another scratch race. I believe they're doing more laps than the previous group. My money says they're going to be doing like maybe 15. There it is. I can use my eyes. The lap counter says 15. So I'm going to go with 15. There's a whistle. I love that. I love that for them. Ben Flom just casually sending it at 1,700 watts seated. Because why not? Like, he's just tapering into off season nicely. Aaron, big effort to close that down. Scott Grinsell coming through underneath. Andrew Karlberg, oh, wait a minute. How interesting that would have been. Karlberg was thinking about it. I know that. Yeah. Mike Robson coming through with Mario on the wheel. Ben Flom back in third position. Andy Baker pulling up fourth. Scott in fifth. Carl Hofer in sixth. And Merrick the Kid Gallagher in caboose. Ben continues to drive the pace. Andy close behind, though, on the wheel, surveying the damage. Bit of a gap, but probably not enough to continue with too much of an effort. Scott Grinsell closing up the distance here. 13 to go. Quite a quick pace already. I'm trying to think, who's been doing the least work? Who haven't we seen on the front? Haven't seen Carl on the front. Haven't seen Mario on the front. Mike Robson or Merrick. So they're just sitting pretty, waiting for the final. Got an awfully noisy heckling party in turn one. Looks like an attack off the back in turn two. Doing the fabled reverse attack. I believe in postseason racing, it's all no pole. I would imagine Karlberg and Aaron are going to be out there heckling the whole time, which I'm very fond of. I might see if we can get a microphone extension. I can just dangle it down here. Merrick finally sees the front of the race. Shocking. Takes a bit of a pull, though. Ben Flom eager to get up the road. He continues to push the pace, but all being tied back together by Andy Baker and Mario, followed by Carl, Mike Robson, and Scott Grinsell. Oh boy. What's happened? Why is it so strung out? Who is doing this? That'd be Andy Baker on the front. Closed down by Scott Grinsell and the rest of the field here. I would say between Ben and Andy, they're animating the race most frequently. That means they're seeing the front doing more work, hoping to tire out some of the more punchy riders, but joke's on them. Ben and Andy, also quite punchy. Eight and a half laps here to go. Nope, pardon me, 7.5 laps to go. The group still strung out. Merrick Gallagher putting the hammer down a little bit. Carl Hofer finally towards the front on the wheel, sensing this might be the time to get up the road after everyone else has been doing so much work, but he does immediately pull off, followed by Ben Flom, who in turn pulls off. Finally, some pace comes out of the whole field up into turn 4. Everyone's sitting up, except yours truly. No, wait, that'd be me. Not yours truly. Ben Flom, Mr. Consistency. Merrick says, anything you can do, I can do better. Gets up out of the saddle and jumps out in the backstretch into turn 3. Pulls up out of the way for Andy, who does the same, followed by Mario, Carl. It is only Scott and Ben down low, continuing to push the pace. Carl jumps back on, but Andy's going to call some bluffs here. Why close it if somebody else will? And they do. Bluff called. Four to go. That's just about 2 minutes of pain. Baker, sensing a lack of cohesion, sends it up the road once again, doing his arrow thing. Mario Sandoval closing the gap, though. Looks fairly comfortable. Will also pull up when Andy does. Ben Flom continues to stay low underneath with Carl Hofer and Mike Robson on the wheel. Scott Grinzel distance just a little bit. Mario slots in behind with Andy Baker, and that would be Merrick the Kid Gallagher on his wheel. Bit of a gap, though. If they chose to punch it at the front, that would be tough for the rest to get back on terms. They all sit up, though, again into turn 4, coming into 2 to go. This is much closer racing than I would have anticipated, given the variance in tactics some of these folks have been showing themselves this season. Coming into 1.5 laps to go, everyone's sitting up high again. Everyone wants to sprint. I don't see why. It is easier to sit up, but I can assure you, not everyone is a sprinter. Mike Robson leading it out here with Mario on the wheel, with Merrick Gallagher behind, Carl Hofer, Ben Flom, and Andy Baker behind. That's a 2 bike length gap there to Mario, who's going to rush that room with Merrick Gallagher on the wheel. They're going to come around here into turn 3. Huge launch from Mario with Merrick on the wheel. Huge gap back to Carl, Ben, Andy, and Scott in the back. 1, 2, 3 coming into the final corner here. Mario, Merrick, Robson, Mario with the win. Merrick the Kid in second and Mike Robson in third. John Bowie, the Lizard Wizard, off the podium for the first time this year. Shout out to all John Bowie's fan club hanging out on the live stream. You're my number 2 fan club, behind my mom, obviously. Whistle. Oh no, I just wanted to say the word whistle. The whistles go. Front of the race here, Mike Ritter, keeping things real strung out. Snoblin diving underneath. This lap is so neutral, it's basic. Some shouting coming from the center of the field. I think they're discussing the detour routes on the way home tonight. I'm going to take Eastlake Sammamish down to the I-90, cut up Coal Creek Parkway, cut through behind the McDonald's onto Southeast 46th, jump onto the 5, something, Mulholland Boulevard, the Californians. Big Bill Fowler off the front. But not for long. The field is committed. Or are they? It's touch and go. Hopefully more go. A couple days ago, I did see Will out here doing some openers. About 350 miles worth. Looks like his workout wasn't complete. Heard his coach wasn't happy, so he showed up again today to do a couple more laps. Complete the 400. Field is coming over the top there. A little bit split up, but I think it'll come all the way back together. Peter Snoblin with an attack over the top. Followed by Mike Ritter. Though Mike is still doing work, not quite in the draft. They both pull up track though. It's a tentative attack. Out of the saddle again, Peter Snoblin followed by Mike Ritter. Gavin Newman closing the gap and now on the front, getting as arrow as can be, leading the group around. It's pretty wild. He's got endurance and he's got punch. He's got style and grace. What can't he do? Jamie Park coming up to the front here with a little bit of an exploratory mission, testing the waters. Does it feel good? Is that the right spot to be on the front? I'm getting a yes. Might be a bit overly optimistic there with 5 to go. Bit of a tough position, but better than being at the back, I suppose. We've already seen some of these riders in the Keirins with incredible final lap sprints. Will Fowler was in the mix, but not on the front previously, so he's going to set off in search of victory in a different manner. If he can tire the legs out of the sprinters, he's going to have a chance. Mike Ritter contemplating getting off the front and chooses to do so. Peter Snoblin rolling up and over the top. Great attack there, but doesn't seem to distance many folks, although it is creating trouble in the back of the group. Looks like we've got Kevin Ulrich off the back, as well as, is that going to be Grant, maybe Stan Douglas, Ken Dong. So the endurance folks in this front group have been taking it to some of the more sprint-focused riders. So once they're shelled, it'll just be up to them. That's their plan the whole time. But Gavin's been showing some incredible closing speed, so I'd be really nervous coming to the line with him or into the to the last lap. Also, Peter Snoblin. Oh, you know whose name I haven't said all race? Mike needs a contract yours. I figure we'll see him towards the front here shortly. It's where all the scouts are going to take notice. We do have one rider absolutely rolling away from this tentative field, though. Somebody's going to have to take up the work here, folks. One to go. Rider 340 is Anton Ernyshev for Jerry Baker Jr. Absolutely dusting the field. But if I'm honest, looks like he's tying up a little bit. They might catch. I know it's early to call, but we've got a couple of fast finishers here absolutely closing this gap. Coming into turn 3, they've got 50 meters to close. Anton Ernyshev off the front with a bunch of riders coming in hot. We've got Mike Jors, Gavin Newman, followed by Jamie Park. Gavin Newman, Jamie Park, and Mike Jors going 1, 2, 3, 2 and 3 TBD. Not quite sure what the finishing order there, but Gavin Newman coming around as a sea bass would. Lightning fast. Up next, Open Women's Scratch Race. In this race, we have Lucy Gilchrist of Jerry Baker Jr.'s, Amara Edwards of Team Mama Bears, Annette the Threat Williams of Center Cycles, Victoria Park needs a contract, Rue Tomko, Jerry Baker Jr., Lucy Dorer, Jerry Baker Jr., Charlotte, also of JB Jr.'s, and Laurel in need of a contract. Wait a minute. How many folks? What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who's missing? Looks like Amara and Lucy have pulled the plug. This is going to be a 10-lap race, and I reckon fairly dynamic. You could say ultra dynamic. The best, I think the best enduro riders out of this group here so far this season, I'm going to say Annette Williams has been on just about every podium in my memory. A new track upstart showing some pretty good early success in their career is going to be Victoria Park, who is currently on the front. Laurel on the front now. Also a new rider this year, showing some pretty good success. I think a crossover athlete, if you will. She and Victoria both rowers, migrating across to our sport. I don't know if they've fully given up the rowing thing, but irrelevant. Rue Tomko on the front, coming up and off. You know, I feel like Rue's been like podium and podium adjacent all season as well. I'd look for them in the final couple laps of this race. I don't think I've seen them dropped once. Though it is typical, the smaller the field, the more times you're going to be out in the wind, and so I would expect this race to break apart at some point. Compared to a big race, you can sort of hide in the wind and shelter yourself, but when you've only got a couple folks on track, it's a little bit more difficult. See a bit of a gap here opening up. I'm not sure how intentional it was. It looked like some pretty smooth-seated power here by Victoria Park. Laurel, who I believe is her roommate, just dropping the wheel. I'm not going to say that's collusion, but I'm saying there's a chance. Annette Williams pulls up and off right as Victoria hits the front, puts a little pressure down. This group working surprisingly collectively, like a strong labor union. You love to see it. Lucy Dorr moving up and off the front. Rue Tomko quick to move up right behind. Annette Williams does the same. Looks like some of that cohesion is broken down. Victoria Park sending it down the backstretch. Big gap to close there. Big effort from all of them. Once again, corner 2 seems to be the lack of cohesion corner. We get a new sponsor next year out there. Greg's can move on down to corner 4. Coming into 1 to go. Caught me by surprise. I wasn't looking at the lap boards, but I never do, even when I'm racing. Why look? Why look? That's too much knowledge. My brain's full of like Cheeto dust, probably. Anyway, back to the racing. Victoria Park on the front up high, considering options. Annette diving down there to jump on the wheel in the draft. What will happen? I feel like Annette's going to have a second punch here. She's contemplating. One to go, Laura, one to go. Coming around on the outside is Annette. Is she going to have enough to coming around? She is. Annette the Threat Williams with the victory, followed closely by Rue Tomko. And in third, I am not sure. Can we get a run back on that? So the top three from that race will be Annette Williams, Rue Tomko, and Lucy Dorer. Up now, live and direct, is another scratch race. No. I retract that statement. We're on to elimination. It's an elimination. I know how this works. Hey, y'all are going to get eliminated, and then your season will be over. How exciting. This race known to have a fast neutral until tonight. For you spectators who are new to the track, welcome. This race is an elimination race, which is one of my favorites. It's one of the most dynamic, one of the most interesting to watch. Every time they cross the start-finish line here under my balcony of despair, this wood could use some treatment if I'm honest. Anyway, every time they pass through the start-finish, someone will be eliminated, and their season will be done. If we do this race in the spring, their season is not done. This just happens to be the last race night of the season. Although that would be a really interesting thing. It'd be like racing for pink slips, except your just season's over. Oh, here, I guess you go race in Burnaby or Victoria or Colorado Springs or LA. But a season here will be over after this race is done tonight, after you're eliminated. Getting a thumbs up. You understand what's happening now? But you already did, though, didn't you? You've been here before. 417 has been eliminated. And now they can go straight to the beer garden and hang out. Well, not straight to, they have to wait till this race is done. There's no crossing the track during a race. Looks like on the back here is Fred at risk, but coming around here might pip some folks, taking the high road. 452. Fred. Typically in this race, you're going to see the rider up high get pulled, or somebody all the way down in the sprint lane, as will be the case this time by 413. 413. I believe that's Tom. Confirmed. Gilchrist has been living dangerously up at the top there, playing what is known as the devil position. It gives you a nice visual on the field. You can see just exactly how much effort you need to put in, but it is a longer 4.99, David Gilchrist. It is a longer lap around if you are up above, so it's a bit more effort. You're predominantly out in the wind more, so it's a more difficult position, certainly in the second half of the lap. But some people just have that effort. If you don't have the constant, if you're not like a diesel rider and you have a little bit more, on-off sort of punch, then it is a position you can have success at, but it is difficult regardless. Looks like Keegan punching himself to safety. And that will be 4-1-1, Jeff Mendoza. Congratulations, your season is done. Five riders left. Looks like Ryder is on the front in the sprint lane, just setting a good tempo. But folks are going to surge up and around, as Micah does here. 4:34, Luke. Congratulations, your season is over. But cross is coming. I'll say that right now, and that's going to be the last time I say it tonight until later tonight. Cross is coming. Oh, damn, there it was. Did it again. Four riders left here, and a bit of an attack. Unusual in an elimination, but looks like Micah might be pulling a train of riders up and around here, all to safety. Oh boy, it's gonna be a Fowler. Confirmed. Three riders to go, which is 2 laps to go. The bell might ring. Hi, Team Dyna. One to go. 485, 485. You have been eliminated. The 2 riders left. Looks like a JB Jr. versus Team Epic. That's going to be Keegan and Ryder himself. Locking horns side by side into turn 3. What a sprint from Keegan. Absolutely launching it out of turn 4. He's going to take the win here tonight. Impressive effort. Well done, Keegan. Hand up, tongue out. I don't know what that means. Hope it's not gang related. Hey, what race are you all doing? What do you want to do? A donut race? We don't have enough donuts, so I guess you're going to have to do the elimination. Sorry. 2 laps? Here we go. Another elimination for these folks. Andy Baker taking up P1, getting as arrow as possible. On his wheel is Mario Sandoval, tucked in doing negative 100 watts, just getting pulled along. He's actually having to put on the brakes. I love that. Merrick the Kid out there in lane 2. Also a pretty easy position. Ben Flom, known as a bit of a diesel rider, coming around the top here, hoping to swing on down into the lane, I would imagine, so he can just pump out his 800-watt FTP for an hour. Looks like Andy's going to close that down a bit, not let anyone else in between. Being second wheel is safe for a while until it's not. Looks like the first rider out is going to be Carl. Carl Hofer is out. Carl Hofer is out. Scott and Carlberg got to get back up there. Ben Flom still setting pace on the front with Andy Baker just outside. It's going to be Andrew Carlberg in the final position here. 106. Now playing the devil is my teammate, Scott Grinzel. Merritt Gallagher also on the back there, eyeing up the competition. He might box him out on purpose. Ooh, he does. That's cheeky. You can take somebody off the back and then punch it into the finish here, and they're going to have a bigger gap to close, which won't be possible. He might, though. Scott's got some power, but not this time. Scott Grinzel. Scott, congratulations. Your season is over. Let's go party. Safely, respectfully, as adults, of course. Sir, there's a race going on. Ben Flom still setting tempo down low. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Andy Baker. They closed way faster than I thought. That was impressive by the rest of them. Mario now on the front. 4 folks to go. Are we going to ring the bell with 3 to go again? Or with 2? Yeah, 3, 2. Great. Looks like only 2 or 3 more laps here, depending on bell ringing techniques. Mario on the front, setting a false tempo, meaning he's always got more left in the tank. It's going to be Ben Flom. Ben doing a ton of work early. Just got a little tuckered out there at the end, which is known to happen when you're out in the wind for that long. Merritt Gallagher taking everyone up high. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but then absolutely slamming it down track, trying to take somebody off the back. That's going to be Mike Robson. Mike Robson volunteering. But it's going to be into the bell lap here. Mario versus Merrick. Who's been doing more match sprint practice? I don't know. Mario's been doing more crits. Does that translate? Maybe. Oh boy. Mario still has another gear, I bet. He's just thinking about it. But so does Merrick. Oh my Lord. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Merrick the Kid. Wow. What a ride. That's unbelievable. Good work, Mario. I don't think anybody else is going to be able to come around that. Impressive. Hey, James, are you cold? Okay. I mean, it looks good, though. It's a great-looking jacket. It's like 9 o'clock. Got another elimination race here. This one's going to be about twice as long as the one we just witnessed. Twice as much action, twice as much drama. but one less Merrick. Ken Dong rolling off the rail a little early. I love it. I love it. The sound of the whistle means the race is underway. Ken Dong making the red line nervous. Can't decide if he wants to go in or out. Looks down, says, maybe I'll stay out. Peter Snoblin's there. 3-5-1. 3-5-1. Kevin Ulrich has exited the building. Pardon. That would be the velodrome. Looks like the action's going to be up high here. It's going to be 3-1-1. James Campbell Harris. It's going up track. Love that. It's more sightseeing to do up there. Get a glimpse of the stars. We got a volunteer off the back. Parker Stanford off the back, volunteer. You are all in. Ken, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. There's a volunteer. Ken, I believe in you. Volunteer. That'll be rider 302. Ken Dong. Snoblin setting the pace at the front. Mike Ritter in a safe spot in second position. A lot of folks in the back here. It looks like we got rider 340, Anton. Congratulations, Anton. You are now free to do as much cyclocross as you would like, uninhibited by track. Rider 315, Grant Gibson, has been eliminated. On the back, Jamie Park just hanging out, doing Jamie Park things. Peter Snoblin on the front. Looks like Jamie Park making a move around the top. It's going to be Stan. 391, Stan. This is lap 5 in a row where Peter Snoblin's hanging out at the front and Jamie Park is being rude at the back. Just constantly moving up and around folks, lulling them into a false sense of complacency, and then pipping them at the line. It's going to be Michael Westover. Congratulations. Your off season has begun. Uh-oh. This is interesting. Jamie trying to box in the Seabass. Seabass says, what? Don't think so. I'm going to the front. Peter's not going to be too happy about that. He loves sitting on the front doing tempo. But Jamie Park here, who's he going to pip? It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. 3:21. That's going to be Mike Ritter by a hair's breadth. By a whisper of a shark. Mike Ritter. Mike Ritter. There he is. It's going to be Big Bill Fowler getting pulled. Four folks still left in this race. Gavin Newman of Portland, Mike Jors of somewhere, Jamie Park of thereabouts, and Peter Snoblin of North. Looks like Peter Snoblin there did a bunch of work on the front for the first 3/4 of the race, so he's bound to be a little more taxed than others. Gavin Newman seeing just 1 or 2 laps to go here, punching it again. Mike Jors closely on his wheel. Jamie Park out of the saddle once more. He's going to do a little box-in maneuver here, I bet. Oh, boy. You know, for this is his first season doing track, he's quite smart. Oh, boy. Close one. 3:07, Mike Jors. Gavin, you're still in it. You got to punch it. Put your hands together for the Seabass if you want to see him close this up. No, you guys got to clap in the other direction to help him. Goodness. You got to send the airwaves the other way. Oh, well, next season's coming around again. But keep your hands together for Jamie the Hitman Park. Victoria, it's okay. There's nobody else up here yet. Hey, now you're late. Just kidding. Get up here. Lucy, who's going to win? Who's going to win? You're not going to call it? It's going to be you? There, you heard it here, folks. Lucy claiming the victory early. No, not you, this one. I mean, you win at something, I don't know, but this one's still racing, so. Here we go, short and sweet. Final race of the 2023 season. Annette pulling the field around but not committing to the lane. I mean, this is a neutral lap, but quite oftentimes in this race you do see a faster neutral and people getting stuck in the lane there, but she's, I guess, waiting for someone else to commit. Annette is perhaps the savviest rider out of everyone here tonight. Very tactically astute. Rue Tomko pulls up on the outside there. I think they came in second last race, so see what happens here. But Lucy Dorr, she's claiming victory. She said that in a pre-race interview. She said, "I'm gonna win." Who am I to say no? It's gonna be tight for the first elimination here, but it's gonna be 228 Laurel. Congratulations, your season is now complete. Victoria Park on the back playing the devil, just like her dad did in the last race. Look for a late lap surge here coming around the outside so she stays safe. Looks like Charlotte Westover might get pinched down here in the middle. Oh, perhaps not. It is Annette the Threat Williams. Whew. Great season for Annette, though. I think she saw just about every podium there was to offer. Bit of spice here coming out of turn 4 once again. We've got Victoria playing the devil just coming around. It's going to 2-0-1 Charlotte. The front two riders have got to figure something out here. Victoria seems just too strong, has too much acceleration. Maybe an earlier attack would do it, but I don't think that's going to be the case. She's got too much speed here. It's going to be 1 to go, but we also have a pole, rider 28, Lucy Dorr. Oh boy, there we go. Victoria puts down a seated acceleration and drops Rue. Unless something drastically changes here, I think Victoria is going to run away with the, right away with the victory. Folks, this is the last 100 meters of the season. Put your hands together for all the riders tonight, but especially Victoria here taking the dub in the final race of the season. Well, folks, that wraps things up for the racing tonight. Thank you all here in the park for showing up and supporting the youths and the adults and the masters and everyone in between. Thank you to the officials for a wonderful season. Thank you to all the riders for your continued support. Thank you very much, Amara. Can we put our hands together for Amara? And thank you so much also for all the volunteers, the paid and unpaid. We appreciate you all. I have been Nolan Adams from West Seattle. Good night and good luck.